Hey guys, it's Jasmine, your brow expert. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your brow expert. Gosh, I've been shaping eyebrows for over 25 years at the Anastasia Beverly Hills Salon. So if you're ever in the neighborhood, if you're ever in LA, stop by at the Beverly Hills Salon and get your brows shaped by yours truly, of course. And I will give you some tips. And yeah, so please stop by and share this with anyone that you know can also use some brow shaping. Bring them with you, or just make it a day of it, right? So anyway, and I hope you guys are subscribing, because that way every week you get the latest brow tips that I have for you. Okay, so and this week is another series of a client that I shape eyebrows for on a regular basis, and I think you can relate with her. And I, of course, am using myself as a model. You can tell some of the little areas that I have covered up, because you guys know by now, if not already, that my brows have been tattooed a long time ago. I do touch them up every once in a while, but so I have to cover some areas up to also show you guys how to hold the brow brush. I usually use a brush so that I don't disturb the concealer, but a lot of the times you will see me using a pencil on the model. So, you know, one's not better than the other, but you definitely get a feel of what can work, or what kind of payoff it gives when you use a powder or a pencil, especially when you're seeing it on the model and then you're seeing the powder pay off on me. But on me, it's always gonna be a little darker because I have that concealer on. So the powder is gonna make the concealer make my eyebrows go on so much darker. So it's always about the shape for me, at least most of the time. And I promise that I will do another video on color selection, because I know that can be a little difficult, right? So I'm going to make one that hits a lot of different people's hair color and skin tone. And that has a lot to do with it, you guys. It's not just about, oh, I have brunette hair, what color should I wear? So I will do one of just all the different hair colors and skin tones and what's the best color for you. So this client has brows similar to the way I just did this eyebrow. And so most of us don't have a lot of hair up in the front. We tend to tweeze a lot underneath to get that arch look, and then ends up looking more curved. And we don't know quite where the arch is, right? So these are three different areas of where I'm going to hit, and also I'm going to shape the eyebrows to where you see that before and after, right? So without further ado, let's look at this model right here. Okay, so as you can see, I made those 3 marks just to give you an idea where the marks should be, right? The brow should be further in, which is where number 2 is. The bottom area is too opened up, and the other area is the arch. So let's mark the front of the eyebrow first. So I like to always go right at the pinch of the nose, or the nose bridge. And then you go straight up and down, like kind of a 90-degree angle right here. You don't have to make a dark mark, just a little dot would also work as well. And on the video, I have it where it's the side of the nose. I don't know, made that mistake, but it's actually the pinch of your nose and over the iris. That is where your arch is right there. I'm gonna make it a little darker right here. Okay, so also the end of the eyebrow, I didn't touch on the video, but because actually her end is right where it's supposed to be, side of the nose, the corner of the eye. Now I'm making this little outline right underneath those. That is where one of the important areas for her eyebrow. Again, a lot of times we tend to tweeze a little bit over here underneath to get that opened up arch, and then it ends up just looking too circular. So as you can see right here, I'm just gonna do a little outline underneath. Now for me, it's going to come out a little bit more straight, because my eyelids are more flat, obviously, because I'm Asian. So my brows are going to be a little bit more straight. On this model, it's going to be more curved. There's a little bit of straightness, but it's definitely going to suit her face, because that is the most important thing. The brows to fit your face, right? It's not just, oh, I want these high arch or a straighter look or a rounder look. It's got to fit your face. So as you can see with that outline, I made this little outline up here. Now it's going to be just a little boxy up in the front, but that's just to create that outline. And this area right here, I waxed her eyebrows to raise it up a little bit because the front was going too low. And as you can see right here, after it was shaped, look how much better it already looks. So I focused on here, and now I didn't show it on myself yet, But right over here, this is where the arch is, right? I made like a kind of a kite on her. And I'm going to do a little kite on me as you guys are seeing this area. Now, this is a very important area. It's the other area I want you guys to focus on. If you have deep set eyes and your brow bone is very prominent, right? You want to focus at the top area to get that brow lift, to raise the eyebrows. So what I do, well, what I'll do on myself, but on her, as you can see, I comb down the hair, and right where the hairline is, where the root is, I just drew a line. We often forget to fill in the top of the eyebrow. And so this is where you want to go up here. When you do that, it raises the brow up. Okay, so that's important. That's what I really want you guys to see, that on her. That is where the most important area is if you have deep set eyes. Very important. Again, it just opens up the eye. Notice that I'm dragging the brush down. When you drag the brush down, you drag some color inside the eyebrow so it blends in with the hair. You don't want this line and just kind of see line and hair. It's very important to do that. So you drag it down to make sure you get enough color inside. Underneath, again, I made that line underneath right here, right? You want to fill in all the way to the bottom here. Now on me, I'm going a little bit straighter. On her, it's more of an angle. Okay, you're going to see a little bit more color placed underneath, but right up in the front, I'm just going to go right over here, just very lightly, because at the front, you never want that dark, right? I'm trying to say it, but you don't want it that dark. Now you can see that I'm using a pencil. Sometimes when you have more skin than hair, I like to grab a pencil and just go over that area. Now on me, again, I'm just trying to be really gentle so I don't disturb that concealer. But yeah, the pencil really helps, especially in those areas, like right at that top corner arch area, right there, right? That is where there's a lot more skin than there is hair, because we're creating the illusion that her eyebrows have a bit more of an arch. And remember that kite that I showed you on her that I will try to do on myself? That is going to be very important, and because there isn't much hair picks up better when there's powder, but when I use pencil, I can get it better and more coverage. Now I'm going over here. If there's any kind of gap that the powder can't get, because again, there's more skin, go over it with the pencil. Now look at that outline right here in that area right there where I showed you guys where it was more opened up. So important to go. Now on me, it's more straight. On her, it's still straight, but more of an angular kind of direction, because we want it to fit your brow bone shape. So by just filling that little area, you cut that circular. Now look at that mark. Remember the first outline I showed you with the 1, 2, 3? Once I filled in the eyebrows, all the 3 marks hit, because it's up, the front is a little bit more forward. The arch, which is number 2, is up a little higher. And number 3, which is filled in that pocket. So when you do those 3 areas, it really makes such a big difference. Here's the other thing. The highlighter is everything when you have deep set eyes. If you guys seen my videos from doing the other models, you know that I'm almost always going to use a highlighter. Because especially when you have deep set eyes, because when you put a highlighter underneath, it opens up the eye automatically. It highlights the eyebrow. And even if you didn't go on that dark, say you have a pretty good eyebrow shape, if you put highlighter underneath, when you have, even if you don't have deep set eyes, it just opens up the eye, as you can see right here. It also gives it a nice clean look. And if you ended up being a little messy, this with the brush 18 by Anastasia Beverly Hills just helps clean up everything. View it as an eraser. But it's such a great way to just go around the whole eyebrow once you have it all mapped out and filled in. It just adds an extra kind of polished look, kind of makes you look like a professional as well. So, and you don't have to do this all the time, but I highly recommend it, especially when you have a strong brow bone and a deep set eye. This will just be a game changer if you have not done this already. I even go at the top because, again, I mean, it can get messy because I adjusted the top arch, right? And I went a little higher up at that hairline right here. So that's important. The brow gel, look at that. The hair strands, you can see the hair strands when you use the brow gel. It just kind of gives it a nice kind of polished look. kicks the hair up, which again is really important. Again, when you have deep set eyes, you want the hair to stand up a little bit so that way it raises the brow up. It doesn't pull your brow down. Yeah, I'm just going back and forth with a clean spoolie brush just to get any of the product off the brush. Now look at my eyebrows. It's a little bit more straighter, but I just want you to see the difference, not on this side of the eyebrow, but just if you remember, my brows were similar to hers. There wasn't much up in the front, and the arch was a little bit flat, and I had an opening right here. Just those three areas just made such a big difference. Look at her eyebrows. It's so pretty and so polished. And you know what? You don't have to go as dark, but it matches with her hair shade, right? So that's another important thing you want to make sure that you have the correct shade of color. You don't want to go too light, especially if you have some darker pieces of hair. You want to go more to the middle to the darker side because it's about the pressure. And as you can see, I'm just going over just to make sure that everything is perfect right here, especially the corners. You don't ever want sharp corners. Look at that before and after as well. Just you can see the front is a little bit more forward, and you can see that little area right here that I want to come across. That's like a very important area because I see a lot of clients coming in, even for their first time getting their eyebrows done. This area just is always opened up. And even if the hair doesn't grow back in there, when you fill in your eyebrows, it just filling that little area just makes such a big difference. And of course, that arch. Now, the arch can be something where you have to keep doing to try to, I don't know if mastering is the right word, but really to get that color up in that area. But when you do that measurement with the pinch of your nose and then right over the iris, it really just kind of maps out and shows you where the arch should be. So I hope this helps, and let me know if it does. Please subscribe so that way, again, you get all the latest videos like this where you can get the best tips, and share this with anyone you know that can benefit from this. Please give me a like if you do like this. You're supporting me by me creating more content. I know that this is helping you guys out, and you guys are helping me to just continue to do this. So I thank you, and I will see you guys right back here. Thank you.